My first female celebrity crush would have to be Olivia Wilde as 13 from House MD. My first fictional character crush is Future Trunks from Dragon Ball Z. And my first ship is Kim Possible and Shigo, because they're two badass ladies that have some tension. What have I been binging? I just finished I May Destroy You, genius. Still binging Food Wars, just finished The Great, and very excited to start Lovecraft Country. Thoughts on who I think should be the queen of the Gaysians? I think the Jujubee from RuPaul's Drag Race should be crowned Queen of the Gaysians because she's a literal queen, and I just really admire how she's this exuberant embodiment of queer Asian joy, humor, and vulnerability. The first movie I really remember watching was The Lion King. Was probably around the start of college when I saw Alice Wu's Saving Face for the first time, which is definitely part of the inspiration for Tomato and Eggs. Saving Face I just think is a masterpiece, and I'm not, for one, like a huge rom-com fan, but I thought it was just so perfect how they were able to blend this queer rom-com campiness with Chinese culture. But at the same time, it's also never losing touch with the genuine pain and struggle for acceptance that can be so political in Chinese families. So it was really powerful for me because it's showing all of these people who kind of like betray their traditional role as the daughter, the mother, or the son. And by the end, because it's a rom-com, you know, we get that expected happy ending, and all of these atypical characters are met with acceptance by their family. That was just something so huge for me. It was really the first time that I was kind of like, hey, I can genuinely do this, and maybe everything I need to do this is already within me. And I just kind of need to figure out how to make it sing and bring it out. My main inspiration, I have so many sources of inspiration. I really do truly believe that truth is infinitely stranger than fiction. And so as someone who's really obsessed with weird things and fun facts, I'm dead serious in saying, send me any fun facts you may come across. I will deeply appreciate it. And you can contribute to my creative process. My advice is to jump in and keep at it. The only difference between a newbie and a master filmmaker is just sticking with it. I'm personally naturally a very anxious person, and so this is still a message that I'm trying to internalize for myself, but it's really part of what keeps me going. The idea that if I stick with this long enough, then I'll be able to create and share some feeling of beauty. Other advice I have, which is from someone that was much wiser than me, is to seek relationships that are not transactional, but transcendental. So, you know, I'm looking for y'all creative soulmates out there. Slide into my DMs, maybe with a fun fact, if you want to stick out and really grab my attention. Who do I really want to work with next? I think it would be beyond a dream to be able to work with Alice Wu, Ken Liu, Phoebe Waller-Bridge, Michaela Coel, Noel Stevenson. I mean, I just think that I could really go on, but yeah, there's so many incredible artists out there, and it'd be a pleasure to work with any of them and learn from them. Tomato and Eggs is a very personal film for me because it is semi-autobiographical. For instance, that dinner scene conversation is a conversation I've had many times throughout my coming out journey. And I think the short really originates in how, in Chinese culture, we express love in these really subtle ways. So our parents won't necessarily explicitly say like, I love you, but you know, they might call us up and ask us, have we eaten? And to remind us to wear a jacket because it's cold outside. Although I started out in satire writing White Fragility Unit, I really wanted to challenge myself to write a drama and to capture love in this really simple and subtle way. Explain the casting choice. I met Fenton Lee, the dad, through Wayne Chang, who's this amazing casting director who offered his services to us at no cost. Bless him. And it had just happened that Fenton had worked with Celia on a previous project where she played his daughter. So she was really top of mind when we went to go ask Fenton, like, who can play this daughter role? And almost everyone was cast through direct referral. For instance, Takhwa, who plays the grandfather, is Celia's Kung Fu Sifu, and Shui Wao Lam, the grandmother, is Fenton's cast member from theater. So my co-director, Tina Shu, and I were just so extremely blessed to have worked with so many talented actors, and I really think that it's really what brings so much quality to the film. Like, I really don't think that it would have been as powerful of a film without all of these incredible people working on it. Telling our stories as queer Asian Americans is so important. Like, politically, historically, everything about us sharing our stories is in itself an act of resistance. And when I think of the nuance that goes into it, it's way more than a queer character in an Asian story or vice versa. I think it's really about digging deep to the heart and the moments of when these identities exist together and synergize, but also when they clash. So being a queer Asian American, to me, can be full of confusion and contradictions, but there's also so much beauty and resilience. I never want to lose sight of that, and I hope that I can show that in my films. So I have some fun facts for you that I just wanted to share, where I felt like the universe was kind of like tapping me on the shoulder and being like, you know, you're doing the right thing, you're on the right path. So the first was after the scene where Yoon comes out, the grandmother, played by Auntie Lam, told Tina in Chinese, "Thank you so much for helping me understand this part of the human experience." And so I think that it was really from that I felt that I had done right by my actors as both a writer and a director. The other moment was after a film screening. This older white woman had come up to me and she was just really devastated at how the daughter and father couldn't connect. And she just expressed how heartbreaking it was and how confusing it was that these two characters were so close, yet, and they really shared the same identity, yet there was so much distance between them. And that was one of my proudest moments, because I saw that in 10 minutes I could share my story and create that kind of empathy with a total stranger.